Hello internet people, my name is Robert and this is an Etoro tutorial for beginners. I'll go through all essential features of the Etoro trading platform and I'll walk you through everything step by step so you can see how it works and how to use it. If it all feels a bit overwhelming at first, don't worry, we all have to start somewhere, like the time I started being the queen. So let's just cut the BS and just jump into the Etoro platform and create a virtual account so we can play around with all the features of the platform without any risks. Now, once you've signed up with Etoro, you usually land on this page. This is your watch list, but you might also see something like this where they're asking you some questions and verifications, but you don't need that right now. You can always come back to these and set them up. For the virtual account that we're going to use, which is like a fake money, we don't need to verify this. As mentioned, this is your watch list. This is where you can save all kinds of assets like stocks and also just bitcoins or whatever you want to save and just monitor how they're performing. So this doesn't mean it's in your portfolio, but it's something you want to keep an eye on, like the creepy neighbor next door. So first of all, if you want to start directly depositing your money and things like that, you can always deposit funds by clicking on this button and here at the bottom and then choosing the payment method. So this really depends on your country, but they have a lot of different types of payment methods. So I'm sure you'll find something that fits you, and all you have to do is add what you want to add and then just submit it, and it's like paying online. It's pretty simple. But for this tutorial, let's switch to a virtual account, which is just like fake money. It's the same stocks, but just not real money. So even if you gain something, it's not real. You cannot take it out. So you can do that by clicking on this button here. It's a drop down. You can go to virtual portfolio. And it just warns you, yeah, you're in virtual portfolio. And whenever you are in the virtual portfolio, you also have it visible here. And obviously, they give you some money to play around with. It's 100,000, but I already spent some, so that's why I have a bit less here. But okay, now we have switched to the virtual account. Let me show you the essentials to start trading. So how to find the stock and research it, and then how to buy it. All right, just let's start by searching for a stock, and that's easily done by just going to the search bar here, and you can search for anything. Let's say Apple. You'll see that you have markets and also people here. I'll get back to these later, to people. But let's say Tesla. It's there. Also crypto, so Bitcoin. You can find it here. And same thing with any of the commodities like oil, all there. So you can always trade with these. Well, let's say something easy, Tesla. I'm going to go and check it out. And usually for all of these assets, you have the feed, which basically just means it's like Twitter kind of a thing where you have a feed with posts about this specific asset. So in this case, it's Tesla, and people are talking about it, and other traders are either expressing their opinion, or they're just commenting on the progress. So here you can participate in the community, and you can see it easy. You can like, comment, and share these posts. And as you can see here, people are comment on them, so you can just join. So, do you think you'll join the conversation?
No! No!
And then if we go back, we have the stats tab. So if we could check it out, this is really a kind of high level stats for this asset. So once you get used to trading, you'll start using some of these, and they have, for stocks, there's a lot of summaries, and also you can see the income statement, balance sheet, cash flow statement, and also a bit more information about Tesla, for example. You could read more about it, how they're doing and stuff like that. Then you have the chart. So this is the stock chart, and you can zoom in, zoom out with your mouse wheel, or just pressing on these minus and plus buttons. But you can see that it's at all-time highs right now. And you can see how it progressed there. So for example, if you would have bought this last year, that was around below 100, maybe even 50, and now it's 555. That means you could have, tenfold your money, even more. And this research tab is super interesting because it gives you a lot of cool details. You have analysts here and you can read their articles. So these are like financial journalists, for example, for Morgan Stanley or some of the other bigger corporations, bigger media companies that also you can see here. So for example, for Tesla, this guy wrote something about it. You click on the link and actually land on the correct article about this. How does that sound?
With all due respect, sir, you're beginning to bore the hell out of me.
So this all helps you with the research when buying a stock or any other asset. So then if you scroll down, what I found really cool is here at the bottom, how the hedge funds are, what are they doing with this? For example, Ray Dalio looks like he's reducing his portfolio, but yeah, you can read into those a bit more. But this is also the most interesting one is insider transactions. And you can actually see here how people inside the company have been performing or what they're doing. So for example, are they selling their stocks? Would that mean that it's going to go down? Now, just remember that obviously there will always be insiders who sell it because they want to just get out of the company, sell their part and make some money on it when it's super high right now. But this is just something for your research. I thought this is really cool part. After you've done your research, it's time to open a trade. Now, there's a few crucial options that you need to be aware of when opening a trade. It's just so you can cover your own ass and not lose any money. To guys like this.
Thank you. Your money is my money now.
And obviously then, since we're in Tesla now, you can also start trading here. In this one, you can add it to watch list. So you can see it's already in my watch list. But I could add new list names. For example, I don't know, automotive stocks. I could add only car manufacturers there and then follow that. And then you have the trade. If you click on that, that's where the magic happens. And as you are clicking on the buy button, how about clicking on that like button for this video? I would appreciate that a lot. And this is probably the most important pop-up that you have, and there's a lot of details in it. So first of all, you're gonna be greeted with sell or buy. So it's always pre-selected with buy. Don't forget that in trading language, to sell doesn't actually mean sell, but you are actually shorting the asset. Let me explain that. If you choose to sell an asset, that means you are betting that it will decrease in value over time. If it decreases, you will make money. This is how you can ride ups and downs of the market and still make money on both ways. And if you buy, for example, a stock, you're betting that the stock will go up in value. So you make money when the stock goes up in price and you can close it at a higher price. I hope all of that didn't confuse you like this.
Prime laps with your 4 win.
So then you obviously have also buy Tesla here. You see the price of the stock right now, that the market is closed, and this is where you can set the rate. So you can either just wait until the market opens and then you can open it, then you can buy this stock for that price, or you can say, I'm not gonna buy it until it's certain rate. So for example, until this Tesla stock drops, let's say to 545, I don't want to buy it. So I only buy it for this price. And then you can say, I want to buy shares with $1,000 like this. You can also here, so I've selected the amount in dollars, but you can also select how many shares. So for example, because it's $555, I actually want to have exactly 2 shares, and that's going to cost me this much. Then you have 3 more options. So you have the stop loss, which basically just limits how much money you can lose on this trade. So you might be wondering, what is stop loss? A stop loss is like a threshold that you can set. If the price goes below that threshold, the platform will automatically close the trade and stop you from losing more money if there are big swings in the market. With stop loss, you can limit the risk automatically, so you don't need to monitor the stock on a daily basis. Now, what is good rate for stop loss? Personally, I use 5 to 10%, but this really depends on how much you're willing to take a risk and how volatile the asset is. For example, for cryptos, 10% is way too low just because it swings much more than that, even daily, hourly. So you're just gonna hit the stop loss all the time. So it really depends. But remember, always set a stop loss. Don't be this guy.
I don't need backup. I have right on my side.
Let's say I set it to 100, something like that, $100. So this means if I lose $100 on this trade, it's gonna stop it automatically, and it won't. So I won't lose more money than that. You can also set it to rate 555. So let's say, okay, if it reaches 525, I want out. So that's another option. Now you might see this a bit differently because it depends if you're just following the market. If you're just following the market, the stop loss is slightly different. So in this case, you can choose only that, you're gonna set the amount as a stop loss. So another important thing here is that you can set the trailing stop loss. So what is trailing stop loss in Etoro? Trailing stop loss means that the platform will automatically change the stop loss to higher amount as long as the price is moving in your favor. So for example, let's say stock costs $100 and you've set a stop loss of 10%. So that means if the price goes below $90, the stop loss gets executed. Now, during a month, the price grows by 20% and stock price is now $120. A trailing stop loss will automatically adjust to a new price. So your stop loss would be 10% from $120. So $108 would be the stop loss. As long as the price is going in the right direction for you, the stop loss will automatically adjust. And then next one, leverage. You can, in most cases, you can leverage these assets. So what is leverage? In summary, you're basically borrowing money to increase the potential return of an investment. For example, let's say you have $1,000 and you leverage by a factor of 2. That means you have $2,000 to invest. So if the stock goes up by 10% and you close the trade, you will make $200 in profit. Then you pay back the loan of $1,000 and you're left with $1,200. If you would not use leverage, you would have $1,100. This sounds all good and enticing, but there's a catch. If the same stock goes down by 10%, you end up losing $200, and basically your equity goes down to $800. So that's what you're left with on your account. And you can choose even 5%, but be really careful with this because there's also extra costs. So you see here overnight fees. So you're gonna endure these kind of daily fees and weekend fees like this. These are costs that you're gonna basically have every day as you have a leverage position. So keep that in mind that you can't hold it for long. Otherwise, you are basically losing money on that. And just in general, it's much higher risk to trade with leverage. So I'm gonna keep it to 1% like this. I just want to mention that I'm not going to cover Etoro fees in this video. If you want to learn more about them, check out the video that should appear somewhere here. So just gonna adjust the stop loss to something a bit better, let's say 100. And this really depends on your strategy. And then you have the take profit, and this basically just means if it reaches this profit, then it's gonna stop it as well. So you're gonna close the trade and take all that profit in. And it makes sense if you think that the market is very turbulent, then you can take it out before it starts sliding down again. But let's say for this one, you have some minimum. So I think like this, if I would put 6, oh, okay, you can see here that take profit can be placed higher than this one. So I'm gonna just put 5,000, but actually I don't need it, so I don't wanna have this. And then once you're done, just click on set order. And obviously, because the market is closed now, I cannot buy. But once the market opens, it will automatically add it to my portfolio.
Very shagadelic, baby. Yeah.
If you're looking for videos about trading platforms like Etoro, investing, and side income in general, this is the right channel for you as I cover different topics on creating your side income streams. So smash that subscribe button and hit the bell icon so you can get notified about new videos. So once you open a trade, let's take a look what you can do in the portfolio tab. take a look at the portfolio tab, because that's where all your trades will appear. And I have a few examples here. I have a Bitcoin and Apple. You can see they've been already running for some time, and actually Bitcoin is doing quite well. So you have some stats here, and the most important is obviously this one in percentage. So are you making money or are you in the loss? So if you see 100 here, that means you've doubled your money, which is great. Because right now you see that I invested $1,000 here and I'm already at $2,000. So I should have invested in Bitcoin also on my real money, but that's besides the point. But basically here you can see that both of my trades are doing really well, almost doubled during as long as I'm holding them. So when you actually want to get rid of your asset, you need to close it. I think a lot of beginners misunderstand this terminology and they end up basically just selling the asset, but it doesn't mean that. You need to close it so that you can get your money. Otherwise you end up like this guy. In portfolio tab, you also can close these trades. So let's say with the Apple, if I would like to close it, all I have to do is click on this one and you have here closed. This means it basically sells the stock or any other asset at the current price, and that's what you're gonna get for it. So if I click on close, you'll just tell you, okay, you have this open. Do you want to close it all? Yes, and then it would close it. Obviously, it will only close it once the market is open again. For now, I'm gonna keep it there just so that I have some examples. And if you want to dive deeper, you can click into it and then you have more options here. But basically, your main things will be here to close the trade, maybe open a new trade with the same asset. If you want to write a post, view some charts. And what's cool, you can also set price alerts. That means if this Apple stock, for example, would start crashing, let's say I would set a price alert at $70, and if it hits that threshold, I'm gonna get notified and I can buy the stock on that price. And again, if you click on this X, it's same as closing the trade. So this is how you actually cash in. So if we go back, there's also a couple more tabs. So you have here the history tab. This is like a history of transactions. Right now I don't have anything there because mine is pending. And then you have also a tab for the orders. So for example, now the Tesla is hanging there until basically the market opens, and then it can execute the trade. Oh yeah, what forgot to say, in this section is also where you can see your fees and things like that. The next section is the news feed, and this is like the social part of the platform where you can interact with other traders and discuss specific companies or cryptos and so on. So the next section here is newsfeed. I think it's quite straightforward, but basically you can follow other people. You do it by simply finding them. So let's say I would want to follow this Chris guy. If you add him to the watch list, you become a follower, not a copier. This is very different. I'm gonna explain copying in just a second, but you become a follower. That means you can see their post in your feed. So if we go back to the feed, you'll be able to like, comment, and share the stuff on Etoro. Then we have trade markets, which is quite simple. It's just basically where you can discover all kinds of different assets, stocks, ETFs, cryptos, whatever you're looking for. So you can always click here and filter out more. So for example, if I'm into ETFs, I would search for them here. So one ETF that is popular is obviously S&P 500. And you can always go back. So there's more options here, and you can filter by certain type of assets. So one of the unique features of Etoro is that you can copy other traders, and the platform will automatically copy what they do. This is in proportion. So if a trader buys Apple stocks for 10% of his portfolio, Etoro will buy Apple stock with 10% of your portfolio as well. And this is how you can find traders to copy. And then click on Copy People tab. You can actually just copy other people and your portfolio will reflect what they've done. So for example, here are some guys that are on the fire right now. So this guy, let's click into him. You can see that it throws you in directly in his sort of stats. And this is the stats for this person. And you can see how he has done since he basically joined Etoro. You can see that he's actually been quite consistent the last 2 years, and actually 51% during this year. That's pretty good. So then you would look, okay, looks good, the stats look good, and here you can see how much risk this guy takes. Yeah, obviously in the green that's less risk, and the ones that are closer to red are more risky. And also you can see how many people copy this guy. So in this case it's 224 copiers, and basically these traders also can make money by having more copiers. It's called I think Partners Program. If you're very successful on Etoro, you can make extra money by people copying you. And I know many of you will be like this, but if you want to learn more about Partner Program, then check out the YouTube card that will appear on your screen's top right corner right now. I'll add a video there explaining the whole thing. And you see more data here, how he's done and how many trades per week he's doing and stuff like that. And what's interesting also, you can go and see what's in his portfolio. So you can see there's about 10 different stocks. Looks like he's only into stocks. So then this guy could be your stock guy, and you can follow him, and that way makes same trades as him all automatically. There's also a chart, but this one is a bit less useful. You can see how he's been doing for the last, what is this, year. So but let's go back to portfolio, and actually let's say I want to copy this guy. So same thing, you click on copy, and then you say with how much you want to copy. I'm gonna say I want to copy with $1,000. So you shouldn't place all your bets on one guy, but distribute it a little bit. And here it's also saying about the stop loss. So stop copying if copy value drops below 600. So I'm gonna edit that and say, okay, if it drops below 900, I want it to stop, and I want to copy open trade. So now I copy, and now if I go to portfolio, you can see the wheel patch is there. Right now there's nothing yet there. I think it needs a few minutes to update stuff, but then later on you'll see same stats are like this for this guy. So if I click on it, you can see how I'm doing with him.
Cool.
All right, and then there's the invest in copy portfolios. These are basically portfolios that are kind of planned for you. They already have different kind of assets, so they're trying to you can see that this one, for example, only has I think these are cryptos both, and it's very volatile, but also the returns are very high. So you could also use a portfolio, because a portfolio could have specific types of companies. For example, in this case it's digital commerce. You could also have cryptocurrencies, and they're kind of tailor-made for you if you're into certain type of portfolios. So you could also explore here a bit more. Then you have Etoro Club, but this is just like a membership area, and you get some benefits with it. And this is based on how much money you have on Etoro platform. So they have different levels, and you get different perks with these, such as invite-only events and personal services. Then you can invite friends. If you know someone who wants to join Etoro, you can share this link, and if your friend joins Etoro and makes trades of at least $100, you both will get $50 on your account. It's $50 right now, but this can change, so always check this on Etoro website for the latest information. You have the help guide, and then obviously at some point you want to withdraw your funds, and this is where you do it. Just keep in mind there's a small fee of $5 when you withdraw your money, so don't take out like $30. Take out bigger amounts, so that otherwise it makes no sense. And then you have settings, where you can obviously set more things about your account, or you can also set some of the trading sort of defaults. So you have here, if you want more charge or manual trades, it's up to you to how to customize this. The same thing for the general settings like language and also local currencies. Just remember, you can change the currency, but Etoro executes everything in US dollars. So actually for me, it's more confusing if I change that. If you're still considering Etoro as a platform, check out my video about all Etoro fees. The video will appear here. Or maybe you will be more interested in seeing my progress after 3 years being on Etoro. That video will appear here.
Whoosh!